welcome to Data Crunch, and we're going to talk about AI in this episode, right? AI is artificial intelligence, and when we talk about AI, we always think about AI taking over the world. Humans will be gone, obsolete, and robots will be everywhere. So what is AI really all about?
Good question. So you must be spending a lot of time watching sci-fi movies lately, Ruben.
All the time.
All the time. Okay. So let me ask you a question: Is what makes you think that AI will be taking over the world? Like, say for example, before we have cars, what does people use to commute?
Horses.
Horses. Okay. Now, before we have horses, what do you use?
We walk, run.
You walk, you use your legs, right?
Yeah.
So when humans first discover horses, are they going to worry about horses are going to take over the world? Are they?
Probably not.
Probably not. Then why, until today, when we discover that AI or artificial intelligence is going to help us to do a lot of our tasks, boring jobs, and help us in our daily life, and then we suddenly so worried about AI is going to take over the world?
I think it's more because of the media, things we read online, things we read on Facebook, AI is coming, this and that is coming, it's going to be there, your jobs are going to be gone, bankers are going to be gone, lawyers are going to be gone, things like that, right? So, yeah, so all those things are actually attributing to people thinking that AI will actually wipe out the human workforce one day.
But when it comes to, okay, in most of the jobs, there are two parts. There are technical parts and also there are the art part, meaning that AI can help us to write articles, but it cannot help us to write beautiful articles that has the style. You can copy the way that a person who writes articles, but you will never be able to copy his styles and then come up with a better style or a newer style. At least at this stage, right, with the current limited knowledge and AI application, you will never be able to do that.
Do you think one fine day, long time away, that day will come?
Yeah, but that is given on the assumption that presuming humans are not advancing at the same time. So let's say now horses take away the part that we used to spend a lot of time on commuting. So now when we can ride the horse and drastically reduce our traveling time, then we use the time to do something else. So the AI is advancing, but humans advancing also at the same time. And a lot of things when you see, like what you mentioned, like say for example, legals, right? It's a traditional industry where there's a lot of processes and boring tasks are there. Sorry, my lawyer's friend, but those stuff to us outsiders, they are really boring, right? So what AI come in is to help us to automate those boring tasks and reduce the boring parts. And it keeps the fun parts to the human. It still leaves the fun parts to the human.
So what we should really worry about is not having the knowledge for AI.
Correct. I think you raise a very good point is that you fear, not to say you, but people fear of AI because they don't know much about, or they don't know enough about AI applications.
And it comes it reminds me of fear. Fear comes when we do not know. And that's
Yes.
why when we go for a presentation, speak in front of a crowd, and we do not know that certain domain, we start to get fear, we start to get all sort of
Exactly.
all these negative kind of things.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
fear comes from not knowing, right? So I think it's really important that people learn about AI.
Yeah.
So for a layman person, right? What's the best way to get into AI?
Okay.
I mean, it's a big subject, but what's the best way for someone who does not know anything to get into AI?
So if you refer to the previous episodes of Data Crunch, right, I always talk about use cases, application. No matter where do I go, right, I always give talks to tell people that you must tie that particular technology to an application. So when you want to start AI, look for the boring bits in your industry, right? I say let's not making fun of lawyers anymore, but you look at other parts, let's say in digital marketing, yeah.
Yep.
I believe that there are a lot of boring bits that you don't really like to do, or it's so repetitive that you hope one day the machine can take over it for you. Yeah, are there any?
Yeah, of course, definitely. Creating all those creative copies, that the repetitive ones and all that. Applying and pasting, copy, pasting, all those kind of things.
Yep. So I give you an example. Let's say I know a little bit of digital marketing after working with you for so long. So let's say today you are trying to do something related to cooking. What about I can come up with a AI bots that helps you to collect 10,000 swipe files that's related to the information that you put in? Would that be helpful?
Amazingly helpful.
Yeah,
Right?
so that would be a good starting point. So, and AI on the other hand, you have seen it a lot in gaming, Super Mario, Pac-Man, and to the recent one, Assassin's Creed, car racing games, even. Yeah, AI is everywhere.
So it has been around for some time, but it's just on the
Yes,
recent years people start talking about it. It becomes a hot thing again in something like that.
correct. Yeah.
Right, right. Okay, so we're going to get back with more questions and more discussions after the break. See you then. Now, speaking about AI, that reminds me of the movie that you mentioned earlier.
The imitation game.
Yes, the imitation game.
Yes.
So, yeah, you know,
So I won't go into too much of the details of the movie, but some people say that the Apple logos was actually inspired by Alan Turing. So Alan Turing was in data science field. He was considered the earliest or the father of artificial intelligence with his infamous Turing test. So if basically if the system passed the Turing test, then it is considered a AI machine. Yeah.
so
Okay.
the Turing test is still used until today.
Yes. It's still very famous and used until today.
So guys, if you haven't watched that movie before, you should go and watch it. We'll place down the link down here. Go and watch it, go and buy the film anywhere, just go and watch it and get inspired.
Yeah, and then it will give you for those people who really don't understand what is AI and machine learning, it gives you an insight, right? A very gentle introduction about that, and I think it will begin a new chapter in your journey as well.
Very interesting. Okay, so AI vs versus machine learning.
Okay.
What's the difference? I think these two terms are confused. A lot of people get confused by that. Artificial intelligence versus machine learning. What's the
Okay.
difference?
So okay. I will show you a chart here. All right, later we'll put a chart here. Now, in this chart, you will see that the difference between AI, machine learning, and deep learning. So, have you ever wondered is why out of sudden, a lot of people start to talk about big data, machine learning. Not many people talk about machine learning, but they talk about big data, deep learning, and AI. Right? You probably heard these terms a lot in the past 2 to 3 years, especially. So, have you ever thought about why is that so, Ruben?
Never really thought about. I used to think it's the media pushing all this.
Stop pushing out the blame to media
the
lah.
media, I'm sure
It's
it's
the media, okay. It's always the media. Yeah.
always the
All right.
media.
Points taken. Okay. Points taken. So, well, the media has been pushing a lot of big data. So, give you a brief introduction. We probably do another episode on big data by itself. But big data simply means that those data that the current systems, the current algorithm, current software application that's unable to process them. All right, because of the structures, because of the speed, because of the volume. As a layman, we don't care, but we need to give this thing a name, and then we call it big data. So machine learning is a subset of AI. I'm giving you a very detailed explanation here. Is AI is the application of machine learning algorithms. Machine learning is just a set of algorithms and techniques that we use. So I give you an example. Today, if I can teach a machine how to recognize my face, all right, that's a machine learning techniques or machine learning algorithms. So the machine, if they can recognize my face and also my emotions, right? If I use it in a shopping mall, I can use it to determine my shoppers whether they're happy or not, right? But if these two ended up in the primary school or secondary school teacher's hand, they will use it to be an attendance taking tool. Okay, so that's the difference. And then the attendance taking tool and also the emotion or sentiment analysis tool based on your facial recognition, that itself is called an AI application, and that's where AI is. So anything that we teach the machine to learn more about our physical world is machine learning. And then the use of those machine learning algorithms and techniques, and then that can be considered as AI, artificial intelligence applications.
So tell it to me like I'm 5 years old,
Okay.
or I'm like very young. I do not know anything about technology.
Yeah.
Now, how hard is it for me to do something like that? Like
Okay.
you just explained, or is there ready-made algorithms that I can pluck out from the internet and come out with something like that to recognize the faces of my students in class.
Okay, so there are a lot of algorithms, libraries, frameworks out there, and you can ready to download, and it's open source and free. So you can go collect those, download those source code, and then run it on your own. And the good thing is that it does not require a lot of understandings of mathematics or hardcore programming, statistics knowledge just to get it to work. Right? You just need to understand the application that you want to build. So that's number one. Number two is that you don't have to go for those shiny tools. There are a lot of things that talk about TensorFlow, Keras, PyTorch. Those are deep learning. So those are very advanced things that you can go very far. Like you build a machine that play chess with human, for example. Yes, you can go to that level, but you don't have to. As a beginners, you should start from those very small applications, and then you can see how things work in real life.
Okay, so speaking about that, I mean those are some applications that we can use for to detect faces, to like on your phones as well, right? When you open up your phone,
Yes.
phone detection, that is AI.
Yeah, that's also one of the application of facial recognition as well.
But when we talk about bringing AI to some maybe Malaysian use cases, some businesses in Malaysia, how are some Malaysian businesses using AI to power their business, to go about their business? Do you have any examples? Maybe one of them that you can think of right now that uses AI in a very interesting way to go about their business.
So I think in the past 2 to 3 years, we start to see a lot of companies and corporations, they adopt this thing called chatbots. Now, chatbot is a very interesting use of machine learning plus NLP. So NLP is natural language processing. In the previous webinar, also attracted quite a bit of interest there. So natural language processing is, okay, everything when we want to process, all right, we want to do machine learning or data science, it has to be in the form of numbers. So in order to convert text information into numbers, we need something called natural language processing. Okay. Now, once we convert text into numbers already, there are a lot of interesting things that we can do. We can teach the machine to understand their sentiments. So you look at the tweets, you understand how things work. So politicians like to use these tools a lot. So you can sort of like measure the interestingness of a particular topics and whether the public are paying enough attention to certain things or not, whether it be education, hospitals, public transport, etc. So that's one of the application. Now we take that into the next level. That's where chatbots comes in. At the moment, we've seen a lot of we have a lot of fail cases because they only use chatbot as a one-way tool or as another channel, and they don't train the chatbots enough. Yeah.
But I've seen chatbots in Malaysia that especially by banks.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which bank. I can't think of any of the banks.
I think Hong Leong is one of the good example. Yeah.
Eva, is it?
Yeah. So
Eva,
yeah.
right? Hong Leong, I'm not sure. But I've seen some of these chatbots are able to answer our local slang. So when you type in things like, "Where is my account lah?" the fellow would know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So all those involves machine learning.
Machine learning. So you are teaching the machine to understand our accents, right? Our slangs, our local slangs.
Right.
Yeah.
And companies who do that charge tons of money for that.
Yeah.
It must be something complex to do. Takes a lot of time.
Actually, it's not really because it's unknown to many people. So they will think that, oh, this thing must be very expensive. In fact, you can set up a chatbot for free, but it takes a long time for you to gather those data, like the previous chat records. What are the good data that you are going to feed in to train the model? The thing in machine learning model is the keyword here is garbage in, garbage out. So if you don't feed in good quality, like you give your car good petrol and good fuel, your car can perform and run very well. Yeah, but if a machine learning that you give the data and the data is garbage, is rubbish and not clean and not tidy, then you have trouble.
So this one very quick question I have before we end the show for today. When it comes to chatbot, right, and we talk about chatbot, learning and getting all the data in, feeding the data in. What is one very quick technique of getting that in? Let's say I want to build a chatbot today. Where do I get all this data of people's languages, the way they talk online, the way they type online?
Yep.
So what is one source of getting that?
Twitter will be your best friend, because if you follow, let's say, 500 to 1,000 active Twitter users, especially if they're coming from Malaysia, let's say, right? We're talking about local languages. Then you can learn the way that they speak. So you have a standard English dictionaries that they write, but at the same time you have a lot of words that's outside the dictionary, and that's where you pick up all those things. Yeah, like in Malay we type XDE means tak ada, yeah, and sometimes we say tak ada, a lot of different variations. And with machine learning techniques plus combo with NLP techniques, right, you are able to pick them up, and you can use that as a training data for your chatbots. That would be a very good starting point.
So if I were to build a chatbot today, I would go into Twitter and mine the text out.
Correct. Yeah, and those are publicly available information through API. So yeah, you can easily get them.
Okay, I hope that helps you in your questions and your doubts about AI, artificial intelligence. Now, what other questions do you have about artificial intelligence? Let us know in the comment section down below. Again, don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube. We come out with content like this every single week. And also, go and like our Facebook, right? And we sit outside on www.thelead.io. And as always, do you have anything else that you'd like to share with the crowd?
Yep. So I'm somebody with very limited creativity and imagination. So I don't really watch a lot of sci-fi movies that you do, Ruben. Okay, I read a lot of non-fictions. Probably my books 80% non-fictions, and then 20% are fictions, or some of them are novels. Yeah, and I read a lot of Chinese stuff, so a lot of historical stuff as well. Now, if you are somebody who are coming from your current domain or your current field and industry, look for boring things that you can automate. That is what a builder like us, like myself, or if you want to talk about people like Elon Musk, they always look at those things that are boring and repetitive, that kind of like drain your energy and time. I think that would be a very good starting point to pick up AI and learn about how AI can help us to improve.
Right. So guys, start with the boring stuff. That's where to go, alright? So we'll see you in the next series.
See ya.